Hi everybody, Bill Prince again. I'd like to welcome you to week 2 of the class. This week's video comes from Springfield. I'm sitting in my office, so no exotic locations like Jefferson City for the last week. Hope everybody enjoyed the first week of class and are getting acclimated to the environment and the textbook and the layout of the course. Obviously, if you have any questions whatsoever, please don't hesitate to give me a holler, and I'll try to do my best to answer any questions that you might have. This week, we are going to be spending time on chapters 5, 6, 7, and 8. Chapter 5 dealing with business ethics, chapters 6 and 7 dealing with tort law, personal injury law, if you like, and strict liability, and then chapter 8 dealing with laws involving intellectual property and the protection of that particular kind of property. If I were to focus my attention on anything this week, I would spend time mainly on chapters 5, 6, and 7. There are a couple of questions, relatively simple ones related to chapter 8 that you can answer, but the material in chapter 8 is relatively specialized, so don't get too caught up in the weeds on that particular question. Chapter 5 will deal with ethics, and I'm suspecting that by now you have probably had a number of courses, probably across the curriculum, dealing with ethics and ethics in the business context. If you have, it should be a nice review for you. If not, it's good material that you need to know. And then chapter 6 and 7 are chapters that companies that are in business really have to deal with quite a bit, and that's the consequences of the conduct of employees who work for businesses, on third parties, customers, and so forth, and the consequences of products that are created by those companies that may injure people, either through negligence on the part of the manufacturer, through misuse on the part of the consumer, and that type of thing. So obviously, liability to businesses is a huge issue in the context of business law. This week, we're not going to have a discussion question near as interesting, I don't think, as dealing with cannibalism, but it should be a question that should generate some good discussion nonetheless. And basically what I'm asking you to talk about this week are why, in fact, do ethical problems occur in the world of business? As we'll talk about, because something is ethical doesn't necessarily mean something is legal. Because something is legal does not necessarily mean that something is unethical. So I think we'll have a good discussion with that this week. And again, the assignment should be relatively straightforward for you. Let me just make sure that there's nothing goofy in here that I need to warn you about. No, I think the question should be straightforward. Just a couple of things about grading. I don't expect law school caliber answers on these particular questions. You guys aren't in law school at this point. Some of you may have plans on heading that way here down the road a little bit, but at this point in time, at the undergraduate level, I'm not expecting critical, detailed legal analysis of many of these points. So, give them your best effort. That's sort of what I'm going to be grading you on. Thinking processes and things like that, to kind of get the sense that you understand the material. You might not get the exact right answer, but if I see that you're heading in that right direction, everything I think is going to be okay. So again, don't get too worried about again thinking that you have to write these answers like you're writing a law school exam. So I think this week's material is going to be interesting. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, don't hesitate to give me a holler at all, and we'll be visiting with you again next week. Take care.